Joining me now from Reston, Virginia, from the Media Research Center, Vice President of Business and Culture, Dan Gainor. Dan, mainstream media, this is one of those cases where they choose to simply ignore something that they find probably a little bit repulsive, so they don't report on it. Instead, they say, hey, let's go find us some Russian collusion with Trump.
Well, I mean, they're in a situation where they don't want to make any of the far left freshman legislators look bad. So they cover them when they cover them like they're superstars, like Ocasio-Cortez and such, and they don't ever cover the negatives because the negatives are really prominent in the cases of some of these legislators.
Exactly what they did with Barack Obama. They covered for him, so the American people never really knew the true Barack Obama. Meantime, the mainstream media is kind of connecting their radical dots for us, and in this case, linking illegal immigration to climate change. Roll tape.
I see it in Africa, people in these parts of the land with the growing Sahara Desert and the Sahel, and there's no more arable land left, and there's no trees left, and people are moving north into Europe. And in our country, in our hemisphere, it's people from Central and Latin America moving north because how much is climate related to that migration pattern?
Well, that's not clear about Central America, but it is clear about Florida.
Don't let the facts get in the way of a good story, a good narrative. And oh, by the way, Dan, that 50 degrees below zero in Chicago looks really attractive to somebody in Honduras right about now.
Yeah, don't you love how basically they're pre-write the stories and then they add the facts in later. So, everything is climate change. Everything is global warming. It doesn't matter that it's minus 50 in Chicago. It doesn't matter that this is the coldest it's been in 20 years. Oh, it's still warming. Tell that to people outside. And meanwhile, you notice what they didn't talk about there. They didn't talk about the Bolivarian Revolution. They didn't talk about socialism in Venezuela and left-wing governments in Central and South America that are driving people north because their countries are incompetent and things are so bad in Venezuela that they ate the zoo animals already, and now they're looking for something else to eat.
Howard Schultz, the former CEO of Starbucks, the Democrat Party and the mainstream media cabal have a problem. And the problem with him is he's a moderate. Roll tape.
As the roster of potential candidates for the 2020 presidential race grows, so too does the backlash against some of them.
Howard Schultz, the former Starbucks CEO, is getting a shot of Democratic disdain for floating a 2020 independent presidential bid. A potential run by the self-made coffee billionaire isn't just making Democrats jittery, it's also exposing rifts about the direction of the party.
Bottom line is, they can't embrace him. They, being the Democrat Party, the modern Democrat Party, cannot embrace him because he's not radical enough.
Yeah, I mean, here's a guy who ran the most left-wing business in America, even more so than Ben and Jerry's. I mean, catered to liberals for years. And what happens after the fact, when they find out he's not doing exactly as they want, they try to target him because, oh, your music that you sold through Starbucks, oh, that was a little bit too white. It wasn't woke enough. And then they go after this and that because he's only socially liberal. That's not good enough for the media and the left. He's got to be liberal across the board. And the new standard has now become Ocasio-Cortez. If you are to the right of her, you are too far right in the eyes of the media.
That's right. So if you're not pro-abortion on demand, if you're not pro-70% income tax rate or higher, if you're not pro-Medicare for all, then you simply cannot be a member of the modern Democrat Party and be embraced. Dan, thank you.
Want to see more videos like this? Click on the link below and subscribe to One America News on YouTube. And call your cable provider and kindly demand that One America News is added to your lineup. Call and subscribe today.